That devotee should never. Well, Hare Krishna devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. All glories to our revered speaker for today, His Grace Ishwara Prabhu, who needs no introduction. Is one of ours. And of course, Prabhuji is in Vrindavan. So it's always a double gift when we have His Grace speaking with us, because He transports us all to the Holy Dham. Prabhuji, we may put the verse on the screen and then you may take it over from here. Hare Krishna.
Kurabe Gurachandaya Radhikaya Tadalaje Krishna ya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Narayana Namaskritya Narayachava Narottama Devam Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Dhirayat Nasta Prayesva Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamas Loke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki Vede Ramane Jaiva Purane Bharate Tata Ado Adya Jamade Chahari Sabita Gayati Mukam Karati Vachalam Pangulam Karate Grihi Ya Kripataham Bande Sri Guru Tarini Paramananda Madhava Dhamma Prajeta Katabotra Paramoni Masham Satan Vedan Bastava Matavastu Shivadan Tabatayam Hulana Sima Bhagavate Mahamani Kritenki Vaidra Ishvara Sadhyo Ridi Yabaruditi Trakriti Kishanan Negama Kapatalu Galita Falam Sukamuka Drabasambitan Pibaktam Bhagavatam Asamalaya Mura Urasika Bhavibabuka Yasava Yasramanayan Krishna Paramapurushe Bhakti Pansasuka Moa Bhayapaha Hatoyam Brahmasutanam Bharatata Vininaya Gayati Bhaja Rupu Shobhidata Paribimita Savabedeti Asanam Saram Saram Samadrita Savavedanta Sarami Sibhaktami Shati Tarasami Tashyati Tashana Yati Sharati Kochi He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kantarada Kantanamasute Tapta Kanchana Gourange Radha Brindabanisware Vishabhanu Sutidevi Pranamami Hari Priye Krishna Yavasudevaya Devaki Nandana Yasha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah Vasudeva Sutandeva Kasachandra Madhanan Devaki Paramhananda Krishna Vande Jagaguru Namamo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pujarine Nivise Sanyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Panchakapatarubyascha Kripasuni Bevacha Patitana Pavana Bebi Vaishna Bebi Namo Nama Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I thank everyone for being here this evening on our usual Hare Krishna Africa platform for devotees from various parts of the world to hear Bhagavad Gita, the message of the Bhagavad. Now, I'm not as my usual self today, as you can tell from my voice. I just had a few days ago. I just had an operation, an eye surgery, as a matter of fact, my left eye. So, which means my function is quite limited. But I will try to do as much as I can tonight. Yeah, even though material body is always giving us all kind of trouble, but we have to do whatever we can so that we can get out of this material world and get a better spiritual body. But getting spiritual body is a big effort. So our bhakti had to be very, very serious. So can you hear me nicely? Am I fully audible?
Yes, we can hear you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yes.
So we are in the chapter 15 of the Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 15. And today's text is text number 21. This chapter describing the spiritual world, which means how the spiritual world look like. Now, this is just a glimpse, because the real spiritual world itself cannot be really described. It's just a glimpse that Lord Brahma is describing to the demigods. Because here we have two personalities, Jai and Vijay, who are to come to the material world to act as an enemy of the Lord. So which means, because they are coming from the spiritual world, they were very, very powerful beings. Yeah, they are coming as the enemy of the Lord because the Lord desire it. The Lord want to fight. So Diti, because she herself, she had a very powerful, she's a powerful mystic herself. So, and because she knows the enemy of the Lord have come. And of course, she had a very, very attachment to her sons. She didn't want them to be killed so soon. And also she didn't want them to create so much havoc to the demigods soon enough. So she kept this, she kept the pregnancy in her womb for 100 years. 100 years she kept the pregnancy. And of course, when you try to tell this to people, they will tell you, oh, just stop this mythological stuff. How can somebody keep a pregnancy for 100 years? Even 5 years is impossible. Maximum you get 1 year, maybe 15 months, but not for 100 years. So when you tell people this thing, they will not believe you. They say you are crazy. They say you are the Krishnas. You are mad. But that is the reality. Because people have no idea of what has transpired in the past. They have no idea. So the demigods, they've gone to Lord Brahma and they want to find out where there's so much darkness in the universe and what to do. Brahma is the creator, he knows everything. So Lord Brahma is telling the demigod the cause of this darkness. The cause of the darkness, that he began by narrating the journey of Kumaras from the material world to the spiritual world. because the Kumaras was the first sons of Lord Brahma. They were great self-realized yogis. They were called Brahmavadis. Brahmavadis means those who have got to spiritual realization. And Brahmavadis, self-realized, they have attained freedom to travel in all the worlds. They can go from material world to spiritual world, back and forth. So one day, the Kumaras, they went to the spiritual world, Vaikuntha. And as they enter Vaikuntha, they have seen everything. So Lord Brahma is describing the vision of Kumaras. Now, how does Lord Brahma himself, how does he know this? Because Lord Brahma is a pure devotee of Lord himself. So being a pure devotee, he can also see material and spiritual world. So he can describe. He can describe. So he's giving this information as just like just he's an eyewitness. He's giving this information, which he's saying himself. So first, I read the text, and then I will continue on the comments. So text 21.
Prabhuji, can you read, or you would want me to read?
Yeah, why don't you? Yeah, you read it.
Yeah, because I don't think it's too safe for you to look on the screen for so long.
Yeah, read it.
Yeah. Okay. So Shri Rupini Kwanayati Charanarabindam Lampu Yena Hari Satmani Mukta Dosha Samlakshyate Spatika Kudya Upeta Hemni Se Marjativa Yat Anugrahane Nyayatana. Word for word synonyms. Shri, Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. Rupini, assuming a beautiful form. Kwanayati, tinkling. Charana, Aravendam, lotus feet. Lila Ambujena, playing with the lotus flower. Hari Satmani, the house of the Supreme Personality. Mukta Dosha, freed from all faults. Samlakshyate, becomes visible. Spatika, crystal. Kudye, walls. Upeta, mixed. Hemni, gold. Samarjati eva, appearing like a sweeper. Yat anugrahane, to receive her favor. Anya, others. Yatnaha, very much careful. Translation and purport by Srila Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation. The ladies in the Vaikuntha planets are as beautiful as the goddess of fortune herself. Such transcendently beautiful ladies, their hands playing with lotuses and their leg dangles tinkling, are sometimes seen sweeping the marble walls, which are bedecked at intervals with golden borders, in order to receive the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the Supreme Lord Govinda is always served in his abode by many, many millions of goddesses of fortune. Lakshmi, Sahasra, Shatasam, Brahma, Sevya, Manam. These millions and trillions of goddesses of fortune who reside in the Vaikuntha planets are not exactly consorts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but are the wives of the devotees of the Lord and also engage in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is stated here that in the Vaikuntha planets, the houses are made of marble. Similarly, in the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the ground on the Vaikuntha planets is made of touchstone. Thus, there is no need to sweep the stone in Vaikuntha, for there is hardly any dust on it. But still, in order to satisfy the Lord, the ladies there always engage in dusting the marble walls. Why? The reason is that they are eager to achieve the grace of the Lord by doing so. It is also stated here that in the Vaikuntha planets, the goddesses of fortune are faultless. Generally, the goddess of fortune does not remain steadily in one place. Her name is Chanchala, which means one who is not steady. We find, therefore, that a man who is very rich may become the poorest of the poor. Another example is Ravana. Ravana took away Lakshmi, Sitaji, to his kingdom. And instead of being happy by the grace of Lakshmi, his family and his kingdom were vanquished. Thus, Lakshmi in the house of a Ravana is Chanchala, or unsteady. Men of Ravana's class want Lakshmi only, without her husband, Narayan. Therefore, they become unsteady due to Lakshmiji. Materialistic persons find fault on the part of Lakshmi, but in Vaikuntha, Lakshmiji is fixed in the service of the Lord. In spite of her being the goddess of fortune, she cannot be happy without the grace of the Lord. Even the goddess of fortune needs the Lord's grace in order to be happy. Yet in the material world, even Brahma, the highest created being, seeks the favor of Lakshmi for happiness. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah, that helps me out. Yes, there's a lot of lesson here, which Prabhupada pointed out, that in the spiritual world, there are so many Lakshmis, millions and billions and trillions of them in the spiritual world. Now, this Lakshmi should not be understood to be Lakshmi, who's the wife of Narayan. That Lakshmi, who's the wife of Narayan, she's called Mahalakshmi, only one lady. She's one. But all the ladies in Vaikuntha, they are like Lakshmi. Lakshmi Iva. Lakshmi Iva means just like Lakshmi. So therefore, they are just like Lakshmi. So therefore, Brahma Samhita say, Lakshmi Sahasra Satasam Brahma Sevya Mahanam. That there are thousands and millions of Lakshmi who are engaged in the service of the Lord. Lakshmi Sahasra Satasanta Sevya Mahanam. So these are Lakshmis, these are devotees, those who've attained the perfection. Another thing to note here, as per Prabhupada's purport, is that this Lakshmi in the spiritual world, they are wife of the devotees. wife of the devotees, who have all attained perfection. Actually, there is one purport in the Bhagavatam, I think it's in the 8th canto somewhere. Prabhupada is saying that if a husband and wife, if they serve together and remain devotee nicely, they serve the Lord together, that in the spiritual world, they will continue to be husband and wife. It's funny thing, I remember one time in America, I was discussing with one devotee friend of mine that, do you know that if you and your wife, you serve the Lord nicely, you know, that in the spiritual world, you will continue to be husband and wife in Vaikuntha. So this devotee said, no way. He said, no more. He said, no way, I don't want that. You know? So it's like, okay, this life is enough. You know, because of bad experience that everyone have in the material world. Basically, material world is a place whereby a bad taste is created so they can just, okay, I want to get out this place. That we want to get out and you don't want to look back. So we are given a big training in the material world. But this kind of devotees, these are not ordinary person. These Lakshmis in the spiritual world. They are said to be moksha dosa. Moksha dosa means freedom from all faults. No faults whatsoever. Yeah, it's described that, yes, they're very, very elegant, very, very beautiful, just like Lakshmi. Their gracefulness, their large hips, and then they wave their hands around, and then they wave their hands around as if they are brushing off the walls. They are brushing off the wall, cleaning the walls. But what are they doing in the walls, in the spiritual world, that they are as if they are cleaning the walls? Because in Vaikuntha, there is no dirtiness in Vaikuntha. So there is no dirtiness in Vaikuntha. So it's a big paradox that we say, oh, they are cleaning something. In the Brahma Samhita, text number 56, Brahma Samhita, let me just open it up here. So it says, Suya Kanta Kanta Parama Purusa Kapatarabo Duma Bhumi Chintamai Ganamaito Yamamritan Kata Ganam Natan Gamanamapi Bansi Prishaki Chidananda Jyoti Paramapitada Sodamapicha Sayata Kirabdi Savatis Surabibya Chasumahan Nimesa Adako Babajati Nayata Pisumaya Baje Sweta Dipam Tamam Guluka Mitiyam Vedanta Santa Kiti with Piralachara Katipaye. So it said that it's describing the spiritual world. I worship that transcendental seat known as Swetadev. Swetadev in this case means Vaikuntha, where as loving consorts, the Lakshmis in their honor law is spiritual essence, practice their moral service of the Supreme Lord Krishna as their only lover, where every tree is a transcendental purpose tree, where the soil is a purpose gem. See, every tree is transcendental tree, which means every tree is a touchstone, Chintamani, which means you can, anything you want, you can get. Where the soil is gem, purpose gem. So the soil is like, it's all diamond, gold, the most beautiful gem. The soil is like that. Effulgence is full of transcendental bliss. Spiritual is self-illuminated, no power, no electricity source. Everything is self-illuminating. And the supreme spiritual entities are all enjoyable and tasty. Where numberless milk cows are always emit transcendental oceans of milk. Where there is eternal existence of transcendental time, who is ever present and without past, present. I think that means one line here. Okay, all water is nectar. Every word is a song, so which means anything, every word that you vibrate is a song. So people are like singing in the spiritual world. And every gait, every walk is a dance. So just imagine. Just walking around is a dance. The float is the favorite attendant. So this is how the spiritual world is being described. So this is just a glimpse only because the spiritual world is whereby the beauty is always increasing. So which means whatever you describe today, tomorrow it's different, it becomes old because the beauty is always increasing. And of course, Vaikuntha means a place of no anxiety. A place of no anxiety because everyone is always engaged in the service of the Lord. Like Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, that people, they want Lakshmi, they want to have Lakshmi ji, but they want to have Lakshmi without the husband of Lakshmi. People want to be rich without God in the center. So therefore, they're always full of anxiety. You will not find a single rich man who is happy in this world. You will not find a single rich man who is blissful. Because they always concerned about when will the wealth be taken away from them. So they're always full of anxiety. So therefore, Lakshmi is chanchal. Chanchal means unsteady. Whereas chanchal, Lakshmi, who is being chanchal but unsteady, she becomes steady with the Lord. She becomes steady with the Lord because that's our final, that's our resting place, the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So there are a few things which I point out in this report. But what we're going to dwell on is the paradox of cleaning. So that the goddess of fortune, they were cleaning. As he said, as we already said, that there's no dirt in the spiritual world. There's no dirt in the Vaikuntha. So the world is described as Svalika Kudia. It's made up of crystal or marble and Upeta Hemni. The world is bedecked with gold. So Vaikuntha is described as free from dust and dirt. So if Vaikuntha is described as free from dust and dirt, so why then are these ladies sweeping? What are they sweeping? What are they sweeping? So in the material world, we clean because things get dirty. That's why we clean. It's a necessity. But in the spiritual world, they clean because they want to serve the Lord. It's an expression of love. It's not a chore. It's not a duty. Basically, it's a pastime. So the act of sweeping allows them to move their bodies in service to the Lord. Because everyone is acting a way to get the Lord's attention. Everyone is acting to get the Lord's attention. After all, the Lord is the center of everything in the spiritual world. So everyone has to perform some kind of duty just to get the Lord's attention. And then it has been described that humility is actually an opulence itself, humility. So the ladies are described as Sri Rupini, as beautiful as Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, and Mokta Dosa, free from all faults. So as they say, that if someone is wealthy, beautiful, and aristocratic, they do not perform menial tasks like sweeping. However, in Vaikuntha is opposite. The conception of menial and superior service does not exist. Serving the Lord's house is the highest prestige. This establishes the principle that humility is the Christ jewel of spiritual beauty. In the Bhagavad Bhagavatamrita, the second canto, this is described in the chapter 4. So Narada Muni was talking to Uddhava. So Narada Muni was talking with Uddhava, and this conversation was in the spiritual world, because that time the Gopal Kumar, he is now in the spiritual world. He has come from material world to the spiritual world, but at this time he's in Vaikuntha. And being Vaikuntha, he was not happy, not because of anything. He was not happy because he wanted to be able to play with Krishna. But in Vaikuntha, Krishna is not there. Krishna is in Goloka. In Vaikuntha, only Narayana is there. And Narayana is there in his supreme majesty. No one can get close to him. Only Lakshmi has the right to be at the feet of Narayana, nobody else. When Gopal Kumar entered the spiritual world, he was then he entered the palace of Narayan, because Gopal Kumar, he had developed this perfection of Madana Gopal. Krishna is a flute player. So he was dressed as a cowherd boy, flute stuck in his abdomen. Then when he saw Narayan, he cried out, "Oh, Madana Gopal, Madana Gopal." And then he started to run towards Narayan to embrace him. But he was immediately checked by the devotee. So, who are you? Who do you think you are? Just running here, want to embrace our Lord. So he was basically chased out. Especially Lakshmi Devi was not pleased that a newcomer has come and want to embrace her Lord. So Gopal Kumar, he went out of the palace. He was kind of morose. So Narada Muni came to him to try to give him advice. And then Uddhava was there. So Uddhava was there, And a conversation took place between Udeva and Nada Muni. Now, the significant thing about the devotees who have entered the pure service of the Lord is that devotees, they have all kinds of relationship with the Lord. There are different kind of relationship. We have Santaras, Dasharas, Sakyaras, Vasayaras, Madhuyaras. And to each devotees who have this relationship, to that devotee is perfect, which means a devotee does not establish one relationship and a desire to be in another relationship. So which means there's never be a conception that a devotee, let's say, is in it's a Dasharas, and he see how Krishna is playing with his friend, who is Sakyaras, and he's become jealous of devotees in the Sakyaras. That is never the case. Everyone is perfectly happy in their particular ras. Everyone is perfectly happy. So there is no jealousy. There is no desirement to attain this platform or that platform. So, and then even like as mentioned, I think in the previous verse also, it talks about the many entities, the plants, the trees, the so animals. We have all this in the spiritual world. But all these entities, they are perfected beings, perfected living entities, who by virtue of their spiritual practice, they want to be that only. And that is their perfection. Because in the spiritual world, everything is Chaitanya. Chaitanya means fully conscious. Fully conscious. Fully conscious in respect to the identity of service to the Lord. For example, the flutes that Krishna's plays, fully conscious. And that's why the gopis, they were saying, oh, this flute is so very fortunate that because this flute, you get to be kissed constantly by Krishna. And the gopis, they were praising the fortune of the flute. That, oh, what kind of family has this flute taken birth in? Be constantly being kissed by Krishna's mouth. Adharamita. This is something that we desire. The gopis, they are saying this. So, in respect to humility service, when Nada Muni talking with Uddhava, he was especially saying that humility is a very ornament of devotional service. He said that the characteristics of the devotees who have developed love of God is that they are very humble. They are very humble. That's a very characteristic of devotees who has developed love of God. And it mentioned that the more a devotee advances in the practice of Krishna consciousness, the more humble he becomes. The more humble he becomes. So like my Prabhu said, that the humility is the ornament of a devotee. So which means, as I say, So humility is the crest jewel of spiritual beauty. That's the actual beauty, the spiritual, the humility of a devotee. And many great advances, but even many that we've seen in our lifetime, we could see the portrayal of their humbleness. You could see. I remember one time, long time ago, when one of Prabhupada's god-brother, Slapuri Maharaj, he was, that time was about 100 years old. And every night he will give darshan, he will give lectures every night. That's what this was like. This long time ago, almost 30 years ago in Vrindavan. So every night he will give like lectures. And that lecture, he was always full of danya. Danya means humility, praying, begging for mercy of the devotees. Begging for mercy. This is someone who everybody is praying to for shelter. But he's one, praying and begging for devotee shelter. Full of it. When you read Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Bhajan book, you will find, full of this. So this is the expression of the, because in the spiritual world, there is no high or low. There's no, everyone is simply very hankering for service. Everyone's hankering for service to serve the Lord. That's everyone's hankering. And the more one can engage in service, the more blissful one becomes. It's described the Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj was a great king. Ambarish Maharaj, great king, full of opulence, worldly opulence. He had so many wives. He had so many servants. So many servants, unlimited. Ambarish Maharaj. But Ambarish Maharaj, within his palace, was a temple of the Lord. But within that temple, Ambarish Maharaj, he will personally do all the temple service himself. He will even had his guards to lock the door, where the temple, of the place where the temple is, or the temple. So he will personally sweep the temple, mop the temple floor. He will do everything. Then he will cook for the Lord. He will do every single service that the temple requires. He will do everything himself. And this was his main occupation. Even though he had so many wives who could have been assisting him. No, he would not. He would just, he would do everything himself. And then there was one lady who had the glory of Ambarish Maharaj, being a great devotee, how Ambarish Maharaj, he personally renders service to the Lord, and he will not let anyone come and assist him. So this lady, young lady, she said, "Oh, I want to marry him so that I can engage in the service of the Lord. I want to marry him." So even though initially Ambarish Maharaj was reluctant to marry her, but because of her insistence, he agreed and then he married her. So when he married her, so she noticed that Ambarish Maharaj would just disappear within the palace at a certain time. He would just disappear within the palace because he had the service to do in the temple. So, and then she started looking for ways to be in the temple so that she can render service, either cooking or cleaning or do something. But Ambari's marriage will not allow. So she tried as much as she can. Still, Ambari's marriage will not allow. So, as she was deeply, deeply hankering for this, somebody's marriage said, okay, what he will do, he will build out another temple, and then she can do service there herself. Somebody's marriage, no great devotee. So he built out another temple, within the palace. Another temple, so she was very, very happy. Then all the service, she will, cleaning, do everything. And then after that, when she finished cooking, after offering, then she'll be singing, she'll be singing and dancing before the Lord. So dancing and singing became very, very popular, that everyone became attracted. They want to know, where is this beautiful singing is coming from? So eventually Ambari's marriage came to know. And then he came, oh, this is you singing. So in one Ambari's marriage, he was very, very happy with her. So this is just to point out that devotees, their greatest hankering is to render service to the Lord. And as mentioned here in the verse we are reading, what is that? Yet anugrahat. Anugrahat means the mercy, the Lord's mercy. Yad anugrahat. Yad means His mercy. Because devotees, they want the mercy, they want the Lord's mercy. So they want the Lord's mercy, and they know that the mercy of the Lord is not that easy to attain. It's not easy to attain the Lord's mercy. So now, continue with our discussion on this verse. It mentioned that these ladies, they are muktados, free from all faults. Which means they are perfect beings, they are perfect personalities. So it's a very significant point, muktadosha, very perfect. Now, we know that in the material world, a woman might clean her house with a desire to impress guests or out of attachment on her property. However, these Vaikuntha ladies, residents, they are free from faults. Their cleaning is free from, there's no fatigue, because normally when you do some activities, you become tired of it. But there's no fatigue because you have spiritual body. You never get tired. There's no fatigue, no bad odors, no grumbling associated with labor, that, oh, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? There's no such thing as grumbling. As a matter of fact, the more they do it, the more transcendentally bliss they receive. The more bliss they receive. So their faultlessness implies they are free from which means the fault of pride. They don't think, I am too beautiful to sweep. They never think that way. We have so many materialistic hang-ups that we all have. Just like in our temple, if a devotee come to you, say, Prabhu, take this, sweep the floor, or come to the kitchen and wash the pots. The first thing is, don't you know who I am? That's the first thing. Don't you know who I am? How can you be asking me to come and clean the floor and sweep the pot? You don't know me. You don't know me. So we are ready for all our materialistic abhiman to come into play. It's like, how dare you ask me to come and do this and come and do that? Even a smallest thing, we are very, very repugnant to do that because of, pride. So, but these lady in Vakuntas, they don't have such pride in them. Such pride is not there. Because everything they do is lila, is pastimes. And lila is an activity that gives blissfulness. Lila means something that is done without endeavor. It's a play. No, so lila is done without endeavor. That's what lila is. So we should not misuse this word lila. Sometimes we like to misuse, this person is lila, that person. No, you're not lila. Lila is not material things. It's not material activity. It's a spiritual activity. So we should not misuse the word lila at all. So, I know these ladies, they are said to have lotus in their hands. So they were holding the lotus. It's a toy lotus which they were holding while sweeping. They were sweeping and holding the toy lotus. So it basically indicates the effortless nature of their service. They are not struggling with heavy brooms. So the sweeping itself is graceful, almost like a dance, performed with a lotus flower or a whisk, accompanied by the tinkling of their ankle bells. Kwanajati. So this Lakshmi, of course, Brahma Samhita, which said that Chintamani Prakrasad Masuka Paviksha, La Kabite Surabi Abhipalayante, Lakshmi Sata Santa Sambrahma Siba Mana Govindam, Adi Purusanta Mahambhajami. So the Lord Brahma is making this point. I worship Govinda, whom hundreds of thousands of Lakshmi or the gopis, they serve him. Sivamana means they are engaged in his service. Thousands and thousands of them. So Lord Brahma is saying that I worship this Govinda, Krishna. Now in Chaitanya Prabhu's Leela, when Mahaprabhu, before the Rath Yatra, there was a cleansing of Gundicha temple. Gundicha temple is a temple that Lord Jagannath will rest for 10 days. There's a Rath Yatra day. On the Rath Yatra day, so Lord Jagannath is taken from the main temple. It's called a Sriman Day for those of you who have been to Jagannath Puri. So Jagannath is taken from the main temple and it's pulled along to the Gundicha, temple of Gundicha. And this is the place where Jagannath will stay for 10 days. And after this, then he will return back to the main temple. So the day before the Rath Yatra, there's a cleansing of the Gundicha temple. So, and this cleansing is so significant because Chaitanya Prabhu and his associates, they all engage in the cleaning of the temple. Shastina Yaramanda Pamajana Tarama de Krishna Chandra Lila Dasan. So the Lord washed the temple with his own hands. Within the temple, he saw the pastimes of Lord Krishna. So the Lord was washing the temple. You know, it's like many devotees. And the Lord, so devotees, they will sweep the floor, they will mop the floor. And the Lord will say that, I want to see how many stones each of you was able to pick from the ground, how many dust you were able to clean from the ground. So the Lord himself will supervise the cleaning. Himself the cleaning, demonstrating, cleaning again and again and again and again. So now, of course, this cleansing, because the Lord is coming to stay there for 10 days, he's going to stay there for 10 days. So the temple has to be clean. So it is significance because we don't expect the Lord to come to a dirty house. How can you establish the Lord in your house when the house is dirty? The Lord will only stay in a clean place, not in a dirty place. So therefore, cleaning the temple, washing, is cleaning your own heart. You know, the more you clean, the more your heart will be clean. And then once your heart is fully clean, it's shining like anything, then the Lord will be happy to come and stay there. The Lord will be happy to stay there when your heart is fully cleansed. So this cleaning is very highly significant. So this Lakshmis, they were doing this cleaning so that they can get the grace of the Lord, so that they can see the Lord can notice them. The Lord can notice them and say, oh, this one is doing a great service. This one. Don't you want to be recognized? You know, Samaja, this is the Sanskrit word in the text we are reading. It says, Samajatiwa Yat Anugrahina Anyayatna. They are doing all this cleaning so that the Lords can get the mercy of the Lord. They can attract the Lord's mercy upon them. Yat Anugrahat, the Lord's mercy on them. That's what we should anchor for all the time, the grace of the Lord in us. So, which means first, we have to be enthusiastic in our service. And if we find ourselves without service of the Lord, then we should think that is an unfortunate thing, basically. And we should never think that one particular service is more significant than the other service. We should not think that so. In the service of the Lord, everything is important. In the service of the Lord. And this is what is being explained here in this verse. So we're having the description of the spiritual world, and also we're having the description of the devotees in the spiritual world. Actually, in the material world, just like it's in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 15, it says, Uda Mulam Ada Shakam, that there is a place whereby the tree is upside down. Actually, it mentioned that the place is upside down, whereby you see the tree that is upside down. So, which means in the spiritual world is the real thing, and the material world is just a reflection, the reflection of the reality. So, whatever we see here in the material world, whatever we experience in the material world, is there in their original capacity in the spiritual world. Why material world? Nothing gives us happiness in the material world. But in the spiritual world, everything gives us happiness. In the material world, everyone try to use things for their own happiness. So therefore, there is anxiety, there is unhappiness. But in the spiritual world, everyone use everything for the happiness of the Lord, for the service of the Lord. So therefore, there is always happiness. So the spiritual world is there, Vaikuntha planets. And of course, there are different descriptions. There are different gradations in Vaikuntha planet also. Some, like different compartments are described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and some other Purana. Actually, there's one time in Vrindavan, the Brijabasi, they asked Krishna that to show them Vaikuntha. Because after all, they've heard that, oh, Krishna, he descended from Vaikuntha. So they got information. So they say, oh, Krishna, show us this place, Vaikuntha, show us Vaikuntha. They were very curious. Krishna said, okay, I will show you Vaikuntha. He said, okay, you all follow me. So what did Vijayabhasi? They follow Krishna to Akrura Ghat, to the side of River Yamuna. Said, I'm going to show you the Vaikuntha. So at the place, then Krishna showed them Vaikuntha. And then when he showed them Vaikuntha, and the Vijayabhasi, they were looking. And at the end of it, they were not impressed. They were not impressed by Vaikuntha. They said, oh, we already have a better place. Vrindavan. We already have a better place. Our place is better than Vaikuntha. So therefore, because they were just curious to see Vaikuntha, but when seeing Vaikuntha, they were not impressed. So in the beginning of Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma described how on the top is the Goloka Vrindavan, and then there are 8 petals that surrounded. There's a big lotus flower, and then there are 8 petals, and these 8 petals, these petals, they're like different Vaikuntha planets like that. So for devotees of Krishna, their aspiration is to go higher, to go to the Goloka Vrindavan. Now the gopis and the Goloka Vrindavan, while the Lakshmis are in the Vaikuntha planets. There are 2 aspects of let's say service to God, love of God. One is called ISVARA, which is majesty, and the other one is Madhurya, which is sweetness. In majesty, in the ISVARA aspect, which is where the Lakshmi serve, so the Lord is seen as the supreme dominion, supreme majesty. Narayan with all the opulence along that. So that is in the Aishwarya aspect. Whereas in the Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan, what predominates is Madhurya, sweetness, whereby Krishna is not seen as God, he is seen as the most desirable person, the most lovable personality. Two differences there. In the Vaikuntha world, everyone is praying to Krishna, and to Narayan. Everyone praying so many prayers is there. Whereas in the Goloka Dham, nobody pray to Krishna. There's no prayer there because they're beyond that. So they are beyond that. The purest love, it's in the Goloka Vrindavan, the purest love. In Vaikuntha also there is love there, but the topmost, the highest among the topmost love is in the Goloka Vrindavan. So therefore, we who are in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, so we are basically very fortunate that we get to know this aspect of God consciousness. So we are basically very fortunate. So I'm going to stop here. As you cannot see by my voice, normally I speak longer, but tonight I cannot speak longer tonight. So if anybody have any question or comment, you can please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Prabhuji. First of all, we wish you a speedy recovery. To some of you who came in late, you probably heard me read the verse because Prabhuji had eye surgery. And in fact, Prabhuji, I didn't know. We would have preferred to ask you to not speak. So we're very, very, very much grateful and appreciative for you to be here to, despite what you went through, to speak. And I offered to read because it is not so advisable to look on the screen, but you still did it as a matter of service. We're very much grateful. Thank you so much. And please forgive us of our offenses. But we're not going to keep you here much longer. But if someone has one or two questions, we don't want to keep Prabhuji here too long. If anyone has a question, please, you may go ahead and ask. Please. Well, Govinda Prabhu, please you may unmute.
We cannot hear you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. My respectful obeisances to you. My respectful obeisances to Srila Prabhupada and to all our assembled Vaishnavas. And I wish you a very quick recovery, Prabhu. I know Krishna has already done it. And thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. Actually, I have many questions, but I'll make it very brief. The first question is that of Vaikuntha planets. That the living entity in the Vaikuntha planet also have the same 6 rasas like the entities in the spiritual world. You know, they said that living entities, everyone has a particular ras with Krishna, or we call it a particular relationship. So I want to know whether this relationship also found in the Vaikuntha planet between the living entities there and Lord Narayana.
In the Vaikuntha planets, basically everyone is a servant there. There's no Vatsaya relationship there. In terms of nobody can be the father of Narayana. He is the supreme father of everyone. And Lakshmiji is the mother of everyone. So we never read in any instance anything where somebody say, oh, I'm the father of Narayana. Of course, when the Lord incarnate in the material world, he may accept, somebody's fatherhood of somebody, just like when Lord Kapil will come in the later part of this third canto, when Lord Kapila make incarnation. So he become the son of Kadamamone and devotee. So only when he make incarnation, he accept someone as his mother, who is the best devotee. But in the spiritual itself, that is not situation, not in Vaikuntha planet. And also the idea of Shaka, let me finish. The idea of Shaka is also not there. It's because Shaka means, because for example, all the various Krishna friends, they can climb on his back, they can play with him. That's not possible with Narayan. Narayan is always the supreme boss. Even if Narayan want to play, you do it with very carefulness. It's because you know that this is God, this is the supreme Lord. So that majesty reigns supreme in the Vaikuntha planets. And the Vatsaya, the Madhya Ras, it doesn't exist in the Vaikuntha planet. Lakshmi Devi, she's the wife of Narayan, and she always stays at the feet, on the chest, lies on his chest and massage the Lord's feet. So in one sense, big difference between ISVARA and Madhya. So it's only Goloka Vrindavan that this aspect is there. So the different rasas, Santa Dasha, Sakya, Vatsaya, Madhya. So this is mainly defined in the relationship with Krishna, but not in the relationship with Narayan. Now, with Narayan, you can get 4 kinds of liberation. You can live on the same planet with the Lord, which is called Salokya. You can, Samipya means being same place, Samipya, in terms of friendly, but very limited. Just Arjuna is a friend of Krishna, but Arjuna knows Krishna is God. There's Salokya. Salokya means live on the same planet. Sarupya means have the same form as the Lord, but it doesn't make you God. You just have the same form as the Lord. And Sarishti means to have the same opulence as the Lord, but to the extent not that you become the supreme opulence. So the 4 kinds of liberation idea that you can get as a devotee of Lord Narayan. But there's limitation to everything. But of course, the opulence of devotees cannot be calculated, of course. So, and because devotees, because of their love for the Lord can allow them to play any role that he wishes. And some of them, he can allow them to be his incarnation. We call them structure of his avatar. The Lord allowed them to be incarnate in place of him. So devotees of the Lord, they are not limited to what they can do.
Thank you, Prabhu. My quick second one is that of Lakshmi. Lakshmi is in Vaikuntha.
Mm-hmm.
Is every woman or female body in Vaikuntha considered Lakshmi?
Yeah. Every woman Vaikuntha is considered Lakshmi. Is there proper mention, proper said it in the
Great. I asked the question because
your wife can become Lakshmi, and both of you can be riding on the airplane in the spiritual world.
Prabhu, you are reading my mind. You are reading my mind. I asked the question because if every woman there is considered Lakshmi, and Lakshmi only get married to Narayan, So how can I become a husband to Lakshmi, who is supposed to be a consort of Narayan?
Yeah, Lakshmi means like Lakshmi. Not as Lakshmi, but like Lakshmi. Lakshmi Iva. Like Lakshmi.
Uh-huh.
Because of their beauty, their elegance, their grace and everything. They're just like Lakshmi. There's only
But
one
not actually Lakshmi. Okay.
Yeah. But they're just like Lakshmi. So that's a difference.
Mm. All right. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, Prabhuji, I have one question, and maybe we'll call it a day, night your time. There was this musician from Nigeria, Evi Etna Ogoli. She used to have one song, and it says, every 1 kilometer there is a dialect. So I am wondering, I haven't been to Vrindavan, before on earth, even spiritual world too. But I understand there are temples all over in Vrindavan, like almost every few steps there is a temple. Now I'm wondering, in Vaikuntha planets, since they are already there with Lord Narayan, in Goloka Vrindavan, since they are already there with Krishna, do they have temples?
In the spiritual world, it's not, there's no need of temples because the spiritual world is, itself is more than temple.
Okay. Okay.
Because everywhere you look, you are seeing God. Everywhere you look.
Yeah.
You're seeing Narayan everywhere you look. So,
okay.
Yeah, there's no. The perfection.
I thought as much.
Yeah, no, everywhere you look, you see Narayan everywhere. So, it's not that there's a particular temple. You go here, Narayan temple here, Narayan temple here, Narayan temple here.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Like we indicated earlier on, we wish you very, very speedy recovery. And I don't know whatever the doctors might have instructed you to do, but you probably need some shield over the operated eye to block direct light.
Yeah, I have a glass.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Parab, want to say something?
Shivara Prabhu.
Jai Prabhuji. Oh, sorry to see that you're going through some bodily challenge. Andava Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisance. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Anyway, Mr. Krishna, reestablish your sight very quickly. And thank you for at least coming, despite this accident. You sit down here. Thank you very much. We are very grateful for always coming to knowledge us. Thank you very much for it.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dear devotees, please, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute yourselves, and we all chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our deepest gratitude to our beloved senior God brother, His Grace Ishwara Prabhu, for being here with us, even going through this health situation. Please, you may all unmute. Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpa tarayascha kripasindhya vacha, patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavyo
Namo Namaha.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Brinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
All glories to His Grace Ishvara Prabhu Ki Jai.
Jai.
All glories to Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
And all those assembled Vaishnava Vaishnavi devotees Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare